Everyone. So the Utah Jazz are expected after the draft, based on recent reports, to potentially shop Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, and other guys, right? It's Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge, no one is untradeable. Everybody's available for the right price. So he's always going to listen and engage and have conversation, right? They were trying to trade Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler not that long ago. So it would make sense. Problem with Lauri Markkanen now is he's not making $13 million or whatever it was. He's making like $40 million. He's just getting into his new contract. So it's a lot harder to trade for him. The asking price for him and, Walker Kessler and stuff is incredibly high. But there are kind of, everything's at this point is all just rumor and just people's opinions and thoughts and stuff, because we're not even in the official offseason. So like Lakers aren't even probably having these talks and conversations. Like there's always stuff going on behind the scenes that, that are hush-hush type thing. But for the most part, they're not even having and engaging in those types of conversations yet. But there is, and I've seen some like buzz going around about the Utah Jazz and trying to go get Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler. And the Lakers kind of taking Austin Reeves plus salary filler, and then going and getting Walker Kessler, Lauri Markkanen. Now, obviously, on the surface makes all the sense in the world. Right? Lauri Markkanen is probably best as a third guy, catch and shoot. Yeah, he can do other things, absolutely. But, he would probably be ideal slot alongside Luka Doncic and LeBron James. You slot him into that 3 spot. He can really play 3 through 5 because he's 7 feet. So, but you can slot him in at that 3 spot, right? And he could just, just think of the wide open looks he would get, right? Help rebound, defensively, not really a great defender, but he is 7 feet, so he can kind of be a disruptor at the rim and stuff like that. You can go small ball, right? And have like a 7-foot small ball center. Like how many teams can do stuff like that, right? Like that's really interesting. But, to me, my biggest problem with Lauri Markkanen though is his contract, right? So Danny Ainge is probably not doing Kessler and Markkanen for Austin Reeves and salary filler. You're probably going to have to throw in other things, first, pick swap, whatever, right? Well, how much is that, right? Could you get maybe Lauri Markkanen? You can't even swap Lauri Markkanen and Austin Reeves, but could you get like a Lauri Markkanen or a Austin Reeves for a Walker Kessler? Sure, I'm sure that he would probably do something like that, but that doesn't really make sense for the Lakers just straight up, right? Especially because you could probably get other things, a serviceable big, and then other pieces or assets that then you could go pivot and solve other needs, right? Like Austin Reeves is your best trade chip. Like if you're going to use him, you need to use him correctly. I am a big Walker Kessler guy. So to me, I'm like, do whatever you have to get Walker Kessler. But from a Rob Pelinka standpoint, right, he probably is not in his best interest just to make that swap. And you wouldn't free up enough salary cap to like make significance, right? Like if it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, if the Lakers do this, yeah, they get Walker Kessler, but they'd also clear up, 10 million or, 15 million in cap space. None of that happens, right? To where you can get another guy. So let's say Austin Reeves is the equivalent return of like Walker Kessler plus, right? Okay, well, is he the equivalent return of Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen? No, I don't believe so. I don't think Utah's going to think so, right? So now you're adding other pieces. Yes, you have the argument of like, hey, we can get you out of the Lauri Markkanen business. You just had to give him a max contract, right? We can get you out of that. Right? We have the expiring contracts to free it up. So there's value in that too. But again, what else do you have to give up? Okay, let's say you're giving up your 2031 pick, which we know Danny Ainge wanted badly. But he wanted it pre-Luka trade because he thought in 2031 the Lakers are going to be one of the worst teams in basketball. Now he might not value that as much. So my point is it might not be as easy to get that deal done as we think. If you can get it done, then fine, get it done. Right? Because you're talking about a 7-foot, just guy that can do a little bit of everything out there. And then, you get your center for now and the future, one of the best, if not arguably the best defensive big in all of basketball, right? He's the best by metrics. He's the best rim protector in all of basketball. The guy is like insane, right? So, and he's young enough to be your guy for the next 10 plus years. So you'd have him and Luka, and Lauri Markkanen is still young enough to be a piece for the next, however, 6 years, 8 years, whatever. And he's not like reliant on like crazy athleticism. So his game should theoretically, age gracefully, right? So again, if you can do it, get it done, right? But I think getting Markkanen and Kessler is probably a bit of a stretch, but could you get Kessler and like a John Collins, right? So now that's a little more digestible, not as much long-term money. Now, I know John Collins could go into free agency and stuff like that, but honestly, Lakers they're not going to have the cap space to sign him. He's not going to take a vet minimum. So do you work something out to where you sign him to he opts in, or maybe you work out a new deal or whatever, but then that would hard cap you. So there's certain criteria that go into this, right? Point is that if you look at kind of the situation, right, the Lakers could get Walker, Kessler, and I think that would be more beneficial, right? I just don't know what the Lakers would trade Austin Reeves for Walker, Kessler, and, right? And what is that and, right? Now, again, I talked about this, like the Utah Jazz have multiple, from a Sensuba to a Hendricks, right? Like young, versatile, athletic type of two-way guys that can do multiple things out there, shoot the three ball, defend. Taylor Hendricks is a 6'9" versatile forward, right? Like there's guys on that roster that could make some sense. Maybe you get a John Collins. Now you got a vet that you could have for the next 6+ years. You got your foundation center that the Lakers have been by definition looking for, right? And you get one or two young guys maybe now, and you're doing like Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and maybe like a pick swap or something like that. Boom. Now I think that is more obtainable. I think that's more realistic. I think that's kind of beneficial to both teams and both sides. But again, like I like the idea of Lauri Markkanen. The other thing that you have to ask, though, is Lauri Markkanen your second best player alongside Luka that can win a championship? Because as soon as LeBron leaves, that's what you're relying on, because he's being paid as such. And on top of that, when LeBron leaves, you're not going to have the cap space now to go, unless he plays the duration of Lauri Markkanen's contract, right? But realistically, LeBron, let's say, plays another year or two. Okay, cool, great. But then Lauri Markkanen's still going to have a year or two on his new contract that now the Lakers are going to be kind of stuck. And again, is Luka and Lauri Markkanen, are those your two for the next X amount of years? Right? 2-3 years to go potentially win a championship. I don't know. Maybe depending on the rest of the guys, right? Especially because you'd have Walker Kessler too. So I guess it depends on like what Walker Kessler becomes, right? Like, can you find those out? It's possible, is my point, right? Maybe Walker Kessler emerges and kind of comes into his own by that point, and he's like a 2010 center. And, so now you got that with, Luka and Lauri Markkanen, and now Lauri Markkanen can shift and play the 4 alongside, and, kind of utilize his size and stuff better, right? Like, so now you got kind of, Markkanen at the 4, Kessler at the 5, Luka at the, the 1. Maybe at that point, you've gotten a guy, or, maybe Bronny's became that guy, whoever, right? Maybe it's the 55th pick in this year's draft, right? Maybe you've gotten a guy that can slot in and play that role, and then you also need that at the 3 spot, right? So maybe the Lakers have adjusted that, and it's like, yeah, dude, like, Lauri Markkanen's giving you 25 a night. You got Walker Kessler giving you 20+ a night. Luka Doncic's giving you 30+ a night, 38 and 8. And then you got 2 just quality 3-and-D guys, and you're ready and off to the races. Could be. That very well could be the case. But it's just questions the Lakers are going to have to work through, right? I am of the mindset, again, of do whatever you have to for Walker Kessler. I think Walker Kessler is going to be, he's already, again, one of the 2 best defensive bigs in all of basketball, right? I think he's going to be very good, right? He's a guy that already can go get you buckets on his own. I think slotted alongside Luka, that's going to make things so much easier. I think he's not going to have to work as hard for his offense, right? He's going to have more energy on the defensive side of things. He's shown the ability to stretch the floor slightly. It's not something I would encourage him to do right now, but it is something that he can continue to work on and progress over his career. His playmaking ability out of the post, right? He's a guy that was really good at just kind of getting the ball, surveying, and then making quick decisions, right? The potential of him being one of the top centers in basketball is there, right? And can the Lakers kind of shape him and mold him into that? If they can, they have, again, that foundation piece. So you're not just getting Lauri Markkanen, you're getting that foundation piece. So, you add those two to a Luka, maybe in a post-LeBron era, you're good. Right now, though, in a current LeBron era, you're pretty good, right? Health is probably the only thing kind of standing in your way. Because, again, you have an ideal third option that doesn't need the ball in his hands, that could go get you 25 a night in Lauri Markkanen. You got LeBron James. You got Walker Kessler, who can be that defensive anchor, rebounder, shot blocker, right? Do some stuff on his own while also being set up. Luka Doncic, just go get that defensive. You really need that defensive point of attack, two-way, two-guard at that point. But there's something there, right? It's definitely something I would look at and kind of keep an eye on. And if you can do it, do it. But as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out, as we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.